I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. So we are going to now finish chapter 5 of Jacob, finish out the allegory of the olive tree. This has taken us from basically the time of, I estimate, Hezekiah and the Assyrian captivity, from about that time all the way down to the second coming. This allegory covers the entire span of history. We have the scattering of Israel, a time after the scattering where most Israel was faithful, then the great apostasy where nobody was faithful, and now the final pruning. We pick this up now. We're going to finish out this chapter, verses 70 through 77. And it came to pass that the Lord of the vineyard sent his servant, and the servant went and did as the Lord had commanded him, and brought other servants, and they were few. And the Lord of the vineyard said unto them, Go to, and labor in the vineyard with your might. For behold, this is the last time that I shall nourish my vineyard, for the end is nigh at hand, and the season speedily cometh. And if ye labor with your might with me, ye shall have joy in the fruit which I shall lay up unto myself against the time which shall soon come. And it came to pass that the servants did go and labor with their mights, and the Lord of the vineyard labored also with them, and they did obey the commandments of the Lord of the vineyard in all things. And there began to be the natural fruit again in the vineyard, and the natural branches began to grow and thrive exceedingly, and the wild branches began to be plucked off and to be cast away. And they did keep the root of the top thereof equal, according to the strength thereof. And thus they labored with all diligence, according to the commandments of the Lord of the vineyard, even until the bad had been cast away out of the vineyard, and the Lord had preserved unto himself that the trees had become again the natural fruit. And they became like unto one body, and the fruits were equal, and the Lord of the vineyard had preserved unto himself the natural fruit which was most precious unto him from the beginning. And it came to pass that when the Lord of the vineyard saw that his fruit was good, and that his vineyard was no more corrupt, he called up his servants and said unto them, Behold, for this last time have we nourished my vineyard, and thou beholdest that I have done according to my will, and I have preserved the natural fruit, that it is good, even like as it was in the beginning. And blessed art thou, for because ye have been diligent in laboring with me in the vineyard, and have kept my commandments, and have brought unto me again the natural fruit, that my vineyard is no more corrupted, and the bad is cast away. Behold, ye shall have joy with me because of the fruit of my vineyard. For behold, for a long time will I lay up the fruit of my vineyard unto mine own self against the season which speedily cometh. And for the last time have I nourished my vineyard, and pruned it, and dug about it, and dunged it. Wherefore I will lay up unto mine own self of the fruit for a long time, according to that which I have spoken. And when the time cometh that evil fruit shall again come into my vineyard, then will I cause the good and the bad to be gathered, and the good will I preserve unto myself, and the bad will I cast away into its own place. And then cometh the season and the end, and my vineyard will I cause to be burned with fire. I believe this takes us all the way to the end of the millennium. Now, who are these other servants? I mentioned in the first video that I am coming to the opinion that the Lord of the vineyard is Christ, and the servant that is always with him is Adam or Michael. But who are these other servants that are called in the last days? If the first servant is the angel or the archangel Michael, would it not stand to reason that the rest of these servants are the other angels who came and assisted in the work of the restoration? In no other period of history did we have so many previous prophets coming as angels to work on the earth. It is a time unique in history that all things are coming together. Then it says they do the work, and all the vineyard is cleared of corruption. And if the vineyard is the earth, then that's the millennium. All is cleared away. But when a time comes, that corruption again comes in. This is when Satan is again loosed at the end of the millennium. And then we have a great division of the good and the bad, and the final war, and all the evil is cast out. So this allegory takes us from 800 or 900 BC all the way to the end of the millennium. It is one of the most detailed, most accurate allegories I've ever read. And I once heard a quote, I can't remember who said it, one of the prophets said that if anybody doubted the divine origin of the Book of Mormon, all they needed to do was read this allegory to know that this was from God. No man could have come up with something so detailed and so perfect in how it lays out the history of the world. That's not a direct quote, by the way. I can't remember exactly how he put it, but it was something like that. So, going to leave that here, and I'm going to read chapter 6 next, because it is the Jacob's commentary on this allegory. So we will read that next, and I will see you there.